Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Telling It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, the founder of Peer Guidance. We are a purpose before profit companies that help companies grow, scale, and raise capital. We are Telling It Like It is live. So if you have any questions, ask away. If you are watching this after the fact, do not be scared to put your questions in there. They will get answered. I am excited to talk to Heather. We've gotten to know each other over the last 6 or so months. This is going to be, I believe, the farthest conversation I have because Heather's in England. So,
Yes.
Heather, how are you today?
Great. Yeah, I'm calling you today from London. We've been out seeing the sights and got a Jack the Ripper tour in the scheduled for the next few hours. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm also looking forward to getting back home. It's been a whirlwind and time to get back at it.
Well, number one, I think that's going to be a really cool tour, first of all. And
Yes.
secondly, don't rush home because unless you have someone shoveling snow at your house, you're not going to want to land here.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I should rethink my
Stay a couple extra days or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully the kids are taking care of it. So.
Oh, it's all good. All that means is that if it's snowing this much in Calgary, that means the Sunshine in Lake Louise is getting a lot of snow.
Right?
So that'll be good.
Exactly.
You got to look at the positives.
Yes. Yeah, can't forget that one.
No, exactly. Exactly. So why don't I love your story because you've got a lot of experience in with SpikeFli and what you've kind of done and how you've evolved it into where it is today, and obviously we'll talk about how you track and comply your supply chain management and making it work for kind of companies, making it work for them. So please share your founding story with us.
Sure. Yeah. My history is I used to work for one of the big three. I was with one of them for just over 10 years. Majority of my time with them was corporate retention. So in essence, what that meant is it was up to me to prevent businesses from moving to other carriers. So that experience gave me quite a bit of insight into the industry as a whole and some of the challenges that business face. And so I found myself kind of after my time with them needing to, earn a living and raise my family. And I decided to go into business for self and started supporting the business community in cost control in the telecom space. Very quickly, my found a business partner, and her and I have been growing the business for many years. And during that time, we recognized that if we wanted to be able to support, larger companies and not be and be able to deliver the kind of results that we knew were possible, we had to eliminate our dependence on the vendors for fax, and we had to figure out a way to automate the management of that data. And so that's where SpikeFli was born. It was born out of a need to understand large data sets and understand them, again, without being dependent on, Verizon, TELUS, Sprint for the fax. And so we've been at that for the last few years. And so when we started building the platform, it was built as a tool for our team, and for us to be able to support our client. But once we got going, we recognized that the business community themselves need a tool like this. And so, yes, we needed to support our clients, but more importantly, the business community didn't have a tool that would normalize, consolidate, and report on all of their vendors within one place. And so SpikeFli was born, and now we're out there commercializing it and supporting some fairly significant companies, both in the enterprise and government space, and we're growing the business every day. So,
I love that. I mean, I don't know how many times I say this during our conversations that companies are thinking, you know what, this is something that somebody needs. This is something that we need to, internally to help our clients, to make our clients. But you know what? Why don't we make this even bigger and turn it into something different? So when was it at that point where you kind of said, hey, like this is not just for us. We can share that. And when did that kind of develop into, I don't want to say it was a pivot, but just saying we're going to take our business, this way now.
Yeah. So we have actually been working on a bit of a pivot strategy, Jade, over the last year and a bit. We knew what the software was capable of. The fact is that we are generally, when we put this software to work for our enterprise clients where they depend on us, we know we can reduce their costs generally by 30 to 50%. And that's without changing anything. That's really just about increasing visibility into wasteful spend. And so our clients now, they have their own internal analysts and finance and procurement and vendor management departments. And those people, as it is right now, they're all operating blind. When you're managing millions of dollars every month in expenses and the hundreds of contracts and hundreds of invoices that come with that, there's no real one way to get the facts that you need to manage those vendors and those expenses. And so SpikeFli centralizes all of that information. And now, speaking to the pivot, over the last year and a half, we've been working towards pivoting so that just our technology is going into our clients now, and we're teaching them how to use the software so that they can start to drive that real change in their business. It's not the vendor's job to manage your expenses, and ultimately, when you're dependent on them for the facts, the priorities are just not aligned. And again, we talked about earlier, Jade, the economy and the economic climate that we're in. Companies need to be able to figure out a way to quickly reduce costs and drive efficiency. And if they're not doing that and they don't have the tools to do that, it's difficult to manage what you can't see.
Yeah, it's difficult to do a lot of things that you can't see, right? So I guess why don't I want to dive into how your platform works a little bit, but the one thing just before we go into that, you mentioned something that you're working with so many different levels, right? You've got supply chain, you've got all these management. So is it, how easy is it, or how hard has it been to go to a bigger company or a larger company? Because if it's smaller, maybe there's one point of contact, but when you're hitting these big, massive, companies, how do you say, yeah, I'm going to go to, 4 or 5 different departments and say, I can help you all?
Yeah. So right now we're playing in the IT and telecom space. And so generally who really cares about that the most is the people that are ultimately responsible for those budgets. So obviously finance is a big part of that. But also the CIOs, the CTOs, they care about the money that's being spent on this technology. They're looking to, increase projects and be able to improve the technology, and not always is there that quick cash to be able to do that. And so for us, the money that we're saving our clients, that's, while it's not necessarily revenue for the business, it's still money for the business that needs to be reduced. And when you can reduce those costs, that frees up extra cash to be able to invest in other projects. Not having to I keep going back to not having to depend on your vendors to understand exactly why you're spending every penny that you are, is where, is what SpikeFli is focused on. We know firsthand that when you stop when you're eliminating that dependence, in our experience, that generally can reduce costs by 30+%.
That's a very big,
you're spending $1 million.
Very big savings, right? I mean, we're not talking, 5, single digit savings here. No. So, do those people just say, what, Heather, yeah, you're full of shit. There's no way you're saving our company, 30%. Is that number?
Yeah, I would say talk to our clients. I mean, that's what our clients have enjoyed over the years. Not having that visibility, how else are you going to do that? Our clients are spending millions of dollars, have thousands of employees across multiple geographies, and they're dependent on a multitude of vendors. All of those different vendors have some different form or fashion of providing data. And that data is not coupled with your own internal business intelligence. When you have all of that working together, that one source of truth for the who, what, when, where, why, that's power. And that is a position of strength when you're going into those complex contract negotiations. not making sure that your vendors are delivering on what they say they will, because they're dealing with complex systems as well, and not always do they have all of the facts either. I learned that firsthand, working in the telecommunications industry. And so when you have all of the data working together, and in our case, normalizing, ensuring that you've got an apples to apples comparison amongst all of your vendors in one place, that quickly highlights wasteful spend. We've uncovered scenarios in the past for clients using the SpikeFli platform where they've been paying for technology that hasn't been in use for over 5 years. And
Wow.
people come and go, and unfortunately so does their knowledge. And without having that single source of truth, you're just operating from a place of weakness, as opposed to where you should be operating from in a place of strength.
I think that's a very interesting point about, people come and go, right? Somebody might like something, 5, 6 years ago and thought it was very beneficial, and they
Mhm.
move on, retire, or whatever happens. And the new person maybe not might know about it, maybe not
Yeah,
like it. They
yeah,
obviously, when these big companies don't really potentially care if someone's paying for it or don't have to worry about the cost of it. So
yeah.
it just sits there.
Yeah. And the people that put these projects into play and actually implement them, there maybe don't realize that, maybe they're not sharing information with accounts payable, as an example. And accounts payable is just money, numbers in, numbers out. They're dependent on accounting software to manage expenses. Of course, we need accounting software, no doubt about it, but the additional data that comes with managing inventory for any business, and whether that be telecom or technology, or electricity circuits or natural gas feeds, without having the who, what, when, where, why in terms of facts, you're really not operating from a place of strength.
No, and I'm sure that's, once you've got in there and you're able to show your clients this, and especially the big ones. And I don't want to, give away your trade secrets, but, one of the things I know that, we talk about is people are always like, oh, I can get, company XYZ that have, hundreds of millions of dollars in sales and getting in those doors. But,
Mhm.
you've gotten in those doors already for some of these big clients and have some good revenue with them.
Yeah,
So, again, without, saying what you do
sure.
and, your trade secrets, like, how have you closed some of these big clients, and how have you been able to open some of those doors for maybe some of the early stage startups here, or,
Yeah.
entrepreneurs that are listening?
Thanks, Jade. Yeah, we're really proud of who we work with right now and who we've worked with in the past. We're supporting some fairly significant organizations, both in Canada and the US. We're proud to say that the US government is dependent on, a segment within the US government is dependent on the SpikeFli platform to increase their insight into technology. We have been able to achieve those kind of results as a result of simple referrals. I mean, the fact is that when we're supporting one business, they are proud to be able to get out there and talk about the fact that they've utilized SpikeFli and that SpikeFli has done this for their business. The fact is that it's driving so much more efficiency, and people are excited to be able to share that with their colleagues and associates. And so most of our business has come through referral, and some fairly simple social media management, and which is we feel pretty fortunate about. But we know that we'd like to be able to increase our initiatives as it relates to sales and marketing. So we're out there, going to be out there talking a lot more than what you've seen us in the past. So
Well, that's good. I mean, obviously, you're in England. I mean, you have a work-life balance over there, right? You have
yes,
made a few calls, you make a few things, you get to go
yeah,
to, on trips and see things, and see Jack the Ripper tours, and
yeah,
and
yeah.
so I mean that's always good. So have you actually, thinking, okay, well, you know what, we've got a few big players over here, and this is, we've been planning this trip for a while. While we're here, we want to bang on some doors. So, how has it been in, banging on doors and, let's say, making sales calls in England compared to
Yeah.
North America here?
Well, I mean, that's been interesting. Obviously, with the world, the way that it's opened up for all of us in the last few years post-COVID, the world has gotten a lot smaller as far as, the when and where you can do business. I mean, I'm talking to you from the UK right now, but it's really just a difference of time zones. For us, though, we are really working hard at putting together a really great partner model where businesses out there that are talking to similar people that we ultimately want to be talking to as far as the value that SpikeFli brings, they're out there talking about us. And so I've had a few prospect meetings since I've been here with some fairly significant organizations, and I'm feeling, really like we've had some good conversations, but those opportunities have come through our partnership model. The fact is that, especially in the IT space, there's a lot of IT people out there, that want to be able to find ways to help their clients free up budgets for, further investment into technology. And this is one way to do that. And the IT MSP world out there is excited to be talking about SpikeFli. And those are the kinds of opportunities that have been coming through our pipeline over the last few months. And thankfully, even though I'm over here in the UK, just even for the next few days, I've been able to keep those flowing and working through our pipeline.
No, that's gone. I think that's, obviously a very good advice when you talk about, how important it is when you get those early clients, big or small, that you're able to keep that relationship going, be able to saying, hey, you know what, like, do you mind if I use you as a reference? Do you mind if you know of anybody that needs me? Because it's so much easier, number one, keeping a client, as we all know that, but, leveraging the great relationship that you have with them.
Yeah. And all of our clients have all heard from me in the past and have all said that they're all willing to talk to the great things that our company and that our team has done to bring value to their business. Our team is working hard to wow our clients every day, and I'm really proud of them. And we wouldn't be here without them. And I am, they're the glue that keeps us running, and our clients send me messages all the time, letting me know how excited they are to work with our team and the good things that they're all up to.
No, that's awesome. And again, I'm talking with Heather Pauls, one of the founders of SpikeFli. You can click on the website in the comment section, take a look, and check out their website. I guess now, you've got to that decision, and you're, when we first met, I believe at Inventures, it's time to run, it's time to grow, it's time to scale. You've come to the world of trying to raise capital. So why don't we touch base on that, and how has your journey been? Starting to raise capital. You're in the TNT. You made the final 10.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping you make the final 5. I don't see why you wouldn't. Things seem to be going well there. So why don't you talk a little bit about raising capital and what you want to use it for in the next next 5-6 months?
Yeah, it's been an interesting year. My business partner, Jed, and I, we actually had the privilege of participating in Creative Destruction Lab 2022. And the things that we learned and the people that we met along the way have still continued to be instrumental in our success. Since that ended in the spring, you're right, I have been out there talking to the investment community. We have some fairly significant plans as far as our technology, and while we're excited in the space that we're in, and we've got a stable code base and a stable team and strong referenceable clients, we know that there's so much more possible with this platform. I'm proud to say that the National Research Council, through the IRAP program, feels the same way, and they have recently committed to making an investment in SpikeFli to help us continue to grow the platform and become something special for the Canadian technology industry. And we are out there talking to investors, hoping that we can bring in some knowledge and some most needed capital, and to help us grow. We've not had lots of money in the past to invest in sales and marketing, and again, we've got amazing technology, but now we need to start really focusing on our sales and marketing initiatives, and we're excited about getting out there and talking more and more to the business community about why it's important to have increased visibility into wasteful spend now more than ever.
Oof, isn't that the truth?
Right? And quick visibility. People shouldn't have to be out there, digging for the important facts that they need to drive their cost control initiatives, and so we can give that to them relatively quickly.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So if there are any kind of, let's say, investors watching this now, or maybe today, later today or tomorrow morning, I guess, what would be your, what has been your kind of pitch, and what would you like to, you say sales and marketing, but what would you really like to, kind of, what are you trying to raise, and what would you like to spend it on specifically?
So our use of funds, so we are out there looking to raise $500,000, and our use of the plan that we have put forth is a majority of it is focused on sales and marketing. What we feel like we've been really missing out on is our digital marketing. We hope to become a product-led company, meaning that our clients can start utilizing our software almost instantly. We feel like the business community doesn't want to have to go through long sales cycles, and they want what they want when they want it. And so we want to give quicker access to SpikeFli and eliminate that long, arduous implementation cycle that is generally in the enterprise software space. And so that's really where our focus is. Undoubtedly, as we start to increase our sales and marketing within the enterprise and government space, and also the education space, those clients are going to start to see our platform and see beyond what's in front of them, and we're looking forward to being able to have a development team that can help us support those initiatives for new clients coming on.
No, that's awesome. And that's a good span. I mean, that's the thing. You're ready to run, you're ready to scale.
We're ready to go. Exactly. Yeah.
Just need a few more. Yeah, exactly. Just need a few more people to help too.
That's right. Exactly. It's only so many hours in a day, right? So.
Exactly. Yeah. So I guess, let's talk two scenarios here. So, the question I always ask is what's next, but what's next? Like, how are you going to do that if, let's say, you get your funding, and then maybe what happens if you don't get your funding? How are you going to move forward that way?
Yeah. There's always, two plans. We've got plan A, which is, out there working with the investment community and having really strategic investors that are committed to the success of SpikeFli. And plan B is already in the works. As I mentioned, the National Research Council is investing in SpikeFli. And we are already moving towards the things that we have laid out in our product roadmap that we're out there talking to the investment community on. These things are happening regardless. Obviously, they would happen at a much quicker pace if we had some investor support behind us, but regardless, they're still happening, and we've got some timelines to start launching new enhancements to our technology by early next spring.
Ooh, I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, is that something that you can share right now? Like on the tech side?
I would say that I would love to talk with you in more detail if you'd like to schedule an investor prospect meeting with me, Jake, for sure.
Okay, no, it's just like, sometimes people want to drop little hints on here, and they're like, "Oh, I'm saving this for telling it like it is." So I just I get it. We don't have to drop that bomb yet, but we can talk. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Inevitably, what I think that I'm happy to share is that what we're working on is highly scalable, highly profitable potential, and is absolutely in play right now, especially given the economic climate that we're facing over the next few years.
No, absolutely. So true. And I mean, it's, I always love hearing, stories that, it's time to run, but we also got, some great additions to our platform that's going to be growing. I mean, as an investor, you want to hear that. I'm sure the I'm sure you've told the people that during, from Startup TNT during due diligence and any of the other meetings that you've had, I'm sure they're probably pretty excited about that.
Well, when your clients are asking for it, that's a pretty good sign that that there's a need in the market, and that's exactly what we're doing, is delivering on client needs.
You're in a good spot when they're asking you to fix a problem that they
That's
have.
right. Exactly. So,
You know what? We trust Heather. We love SpikeFli. We want everything about it. So why don't you just come up with a solution for us and we'll pay you for it?
Exactly. I'm happy to be the one, for sure.
I kind of like that sales call.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Oh, goodness. Well, I know, it's been a great conversation, and I really thank you so much for coming on, sharing your knowledge and story. But I mean, you've been running, this, your business for a while, and I'm sure you've seen some ups and downs. So
Sure.
If you had one piece of advice for a small business startup or entrepreneur, Heather, what would that be?
That's a good question, Jade. I think that, my answer to that would be, don't be afraid to ask for help. The fact is that Jen and I have been, slugging it out for many years. Making sure that our employees, our clients, and our contractors are happy and taken care of. But what we fail to recognize is that there are a lot of people, especially post Creative Destruction Lab and meeting you all and Startup TNT. It's been amazing to me how many people out there are just want to be a part of the support and helping within the tech community. So my ultimate advice would be, don't be afraid to ask for help. There's a lot of it out there, and we have been fortunate to meet some pretty significant players in the Calgary industry that have been nothing but helpful and want to continue to help, regardless if they're investing or not. That's been what has been truly eye-opening, is that people just want to help, and don't be afraid to ask for it.
Yeah, I talk about this all the time, right? It seems like every episode it comes up, which is great, because I love it. I mean, and it puts a big smile on my face. And even an email I got today from a gentleman who's in the ag tech world, and I'm not as dialed in as some of the people like Chris Edwards and Wilson. And the gentleman said, "Hey, thank you for that introduction. They've been instrumental making introductions, helping me with that." Right. Where, you know what, I might have been able to help him a little bit, but I know someone else that can help him a hell of a lot more than I can, which is what people do. And it differentiates us from any other ecosystem, in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if we were going down this path 5 years ago, I don't think that, I think that COVID did help us in that regard, in terms of opening up our world to all of these, different organizations and people. And I'm grateful for it. It's helped us tremendously. We're extremely proud to be, supporting and being supported by some really important names especially in the Calgary tech space. Thin Labs being one of them, Startup TNT, Platform Calgary. I mean, we didn't have these things around 5 years ago, and maybe we did have these people, but we just didn't have access to those networks in the past. And so I'm pretty grateful that we've been able to create the kind of community that we have in Calgary.
No, it's been fun to work in it. It's been fun to watch it grow. It's been fun to watch everything about it. And I'm just happy to, play a little part in it. And it's just a great place to be right now.
Yeah, no, we're thankful for people like you out there fighting the fight to increase visibility into Calgary technology, Jade. Thank you for that. I think I speak for all of my fellow entrepreneurs in that.
Well, thank you for the kind words, and I don't want to. I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you for taking so much time, and just a short little time. Calling from UK. Get on your Jack the Ripper tour today. Enjoy it, and I can't wait to see some photos of what you and Jan took when you get back.
Yeah, I've got thousands of them, so
I would assume so.
I'll see you at the next Thursday event. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm off to Toronto. I'm gonna have Neil
Okay.
Neil's gonna guest host next week,
Oh,
and then I got
awesome.
Zach hosting because I got to go to Austin the week after. So we're gonna have a couple guest hosts. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
perfect.
miss the top 5. I'm pretty sad about that, but I'll be back, and we'll definitely catch up with a coffee for
Okay.
sure.
Sounds great, Jade.
All
Thanks.
right, Heather, enjoy your time there, and everybody enjoy your snowy day. Drive safe, stay warm, and we will chat soon. Hope everybody